Hello and welcome to yet another episode of IshiSpeaks, your gateway to good health. And I'm your host, Ruchiraa Sharma. And as you know, I will be in conversation with well-known clinical nutritionist, columnist, and author IshiSpeaks. Through this podcast, our focus is on debunking myths around health and nutrition so that you can nourish and flourish. And today, our focus is on intermittent fasting. So as per reports, intermittent fasting can reduce your circumference of your waist by up to 4 to 6%. It can also reduce bodily weight by 4 to 8% in as little as 4 to 10 weeks. So what is intermittent fasting? Who should do it and who should abstain? Well, let's find out. So welcome to yet another episode of IshiSpeaks, your gateway to good health.
Thank you, Ruchiraa. Thank you for having me.
Great. It's great to have you here, Ishi. And today we're going to focus on intermittent fasting. So my first question is very basic. What is intermittent fasting and does it really work?
Well, actually, what we'll call it is time-restricted eating. So the theory is that you allow the body to work for a certain number of hours and give it a rest for more number of hours.
Okay.
So the eating window is much smaller. Typically we say 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. So that's what intermittent fasting is about.
And does it work?
Surely. I mean, fasting in itself is a very powerful tool to regenerate health and well-being. And intermittent fasting is one of the most studied forms of fasting, which has been shown to have excellent health outcomes. But I have to tell you that simply doing intermittent fasting is not going to cut it.
All right.
You have to address what you're eating and what time you're eating. So if you start eating in the latter part of the day and go into the wee hours of the night and the early mornings, that's not the right way
to do it.
Ideally, when you will not get the results. So when you eat is also important. If you eat in sync with your circadian rhythm,
That's
you
important.
eat by 8 o'clock, you finish latest. And so you will get the benefits, but never forget what you're eating is critical. Because I have patients who come to me and who are doing time-restricted eating and struggling with their health and their weight. So it doesn't work without the other things thrown in also. But certainly people begin to feel better. There is a sense of more energy, but you may be far away from your goals if you don't address the timings as well as what you're eating.
And again, as per our ancient Indian wisdom, it was always the case. It was always about, eating well in the morning and reducing your meals as you go along.
It was by default. You ate in the morning and you came back from your work and you ate again, and that was it. And you ate well in the morning. So it was by default. I myself lost tons of weight as a child. I was obese, and all I did was I didn't do any calorie counting or
which was not even prevalent in
intermittent fasting, but I just gave up on dinner. So I ate and I ate my normal meals, but I just gave up dinner, which meant I didn't eat after about 6:37.
5:36, yes.
And and I lost all my weight in a year, and I used to be really obese. So something intuitively told me that this is working for you, so I did it. So that is really...
So you were meant to be what you are today. As a child also, your instinct was that.
It was instinctive.
All right, great. So what are the potential health benefits of intermittent fasting? Because again, in our ancient Indian wisdom, fasting, not just intermittent, fasting was a very prevalent concept. One always fasted, whether for religious reasons or to just give their system a break. So what are the benefits?
I would call this something like your own car, which needs to be stopped and serviced so that you get the maximum out of its life.
Sure.
And intermittent fasting is somewhat, you have to stop the machinery for some time for it to
give it a breather.
Yes, to give it a breather, to give it rest and to regenerate. Otherwise it will be worn out. And that's what fasting does. It gives the body time to replenish and repair itself. And whether it's, and when it comes to repair, if it's a gut you're repairing, literally this happens, this is science. There are several mechanisms which have been proposed, and autophagy is one of them, that all the cellular debris and the dysfunctional and damaged cells of the body get repaired and regenerated into new cells by the body itself. And that's a fabulous way of keeping your body healthy. You know, all the if the unnecessary stuff is being recycled by itself, it can't get better than that, but you have to allow that to happen by giving it rest and avoiding the body to run, or the digestive system to run 24 hours, which is what has begun to happen. Food has become available 24 hours.
Yes.
So it's really unfortunate.
Take us through the primary benefits of intermittent fasting. What are they?
So most people are doing it for weight loss, but then there are many other benefits. It can impact your heart health positively. It can impact your diabetes positively. It affects energy and mood and mental clarity, and prevents brain fog, and also prevents Alzheimer's. And there are many more new ones emerging. But clearly it is a beneficial practice, and if done the right way.
Yes, so it's become a way of life for many people, but apparently there's also a category of people who should not do it. So tell us about who should not practice intermittent fasting.
I personally I feel it's an individual reasons for not doing it. The benefits clearly are there, and like I said earlier, it's almost like repairing your body. Anything which helps you reset and repair your body has to be good for you. Yes, the risk is that your nutrition and your diet intake can be reduced, and maybe you don't eat enough because of poor choices that you're making, or you're not absorbing, or you don't have good gut health. That can be a problem and lead to further malnutrition, but that's very, that doesn't really, it's not a very common thing. The other thing I'd like to add here is, I know you want a short answer, but I'm sorry, I'll have to expand this, that you don't have to do it every day. Even if you do it 5 days in a week, and 2 days you don't do it, it's fine. So, some people just feel that, we've broken it, so now we just have to go break it all the way. No, you can do it even 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, but focus on what you're eating also, not just the time and your the time of the fast.
All right. And what about people who suffer from maybe IBS? Should they abstain from intermittent?
I think they improve with this, but if you have certain medications or certain other conditions that you are on, other treatments, then you need to tweak it and do it in a sensible way, and may not be so drastic.
And what about people who are following intermittent fasting as a way of life, just doing it for really, really long? Does it have any negative impact as well?
I think if you have a good gut, and this also takes you towards gut repair, and you eat the right foods and you eat well, I don't think it's a problem. But yes, there are really no reasons for anyone to worry about it.
Okay, and you were also saying about watching your body, responding to your body. So how does one do that in action, Could you decode it? How does one listen to your body?
Suppose you think that a certain grain is bothering you. Let's take, for example, gluten and wheat is the most common one being discussed. So you put it out for three weeks or 2 weeks, and then reintroduce it. And if you get any kind of symptom, that means you're bloated, or you're feeling lethargic, or you're feeling brain fogged, or you're any other symptoms, your sugars are going haywire,
that means,
etc., it's a clear sign. I give a simple example. You take out rice for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you put it back,
and you see how your body responds.
Mangoes, I give that example. For 8 months you don't have mangoes in circulation, and suddenly it comes.
We have a lot of them, yes,
and nothing happens to you. So it's clear that that's not a food which is triggering anything, but with wheat and certain grains, we see that happening. So there's no better test than that.
All right. And of course, intermittent fasting is extremely popular and catching up every day as a concept when it comes to weight management. So what's your take on that?
I think I have a lot of patients who have been doing time-restricted eating and yet not losing weight.
All right.
Clearly, it tells you that they are inflamed and their bodies are not responding to their dietary discipline, because we're not understanding the root cause for their weight.
So Ishi, if I'm going to just start my journey on intermittent fasting, how do I get started? How do I do it?
Well, it's just that you decide the timing of your fast when you're going to start, whether you're going to start eating at 9, 10. So also it has to be something
In
which
sync.
in sync with your. Some people are hungry in the morning, so then they shouldn't.
And your schedule, obviously, your work
Yes, your
lifestyle, and
lifestyle. So you
yes.
decide the hours and make sure you don't begin very late because that becomes counterproductive.
Okay.
And you just eat 2 proper meals. And I don't think there's any merit in having only one meal. You have 2 proper meals, but again, that's individual, personalized. I mean, I certain days may have just one meal and just have a small
Yeah, there's, I
side
think,
meal.
something called OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. That's
Yes,
also catching
yeah,
up
yeah,
in a big way.
yeah. And there is a very nice quote to that
Okay.
in Hindi, which says, "Ek kal bhoji is a yogi,
Ah, okay.
and
Yes.
3 kal bhoji is a bhogi,
Okay.
and 3 kal bhoji is a rogi." So
Clearly.
तो मतलब क्लियर है कि बहुत ज़्यादा खाना, the message is clearly ज़्यादा खाने से कोई ज़्यादा आपकी अचीवमेंट नहीं होती बॉडी के लिए, आपके लिए फायदा नहीं है. आप क्या खा रहे हो और कम खाना अपने आप में एक टूल है टुवर्ड्स गुड
To
हेल्थ
repair your health.
एंड क्या खा रहे हो इज आल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
All right.
तो बहुत ये परसेप्शन है कि मैं कम खाऊंगी या कम खाऊंगा तो मुझे डेफिशिएंसीज हो जाएंगी या मैं एनर्जी नहीं होगी काम करने के लिए. एक्चुअली इट्स द ऑपोजिट. कम खाना लेकिन ठीक खाओगे तो एनर्जी बढ़ती है. और लॉन्जेविटी जो है, जो हमारी स्टडीज भी कहती है कि अगर आपने लंबा जीना है, बॉडी को सर्विस अच्छे से करना है, तो कम खाओगे तो उसमें फायदा है. इसमें एक जापानीज सेइंग भी है which says hara hachibu. Hara hachibu is nothing but eat till you're 80% full.
Yes,
Don't pack in
yes.
too
I've heard
much.
of that, yes.
So, and most long-lived populations, you will not find an obese centenarian.
And Japanese are that, yes.
Yeah, you know, these people who eat less but eat good quality food and have a anti-inflammatory.
And also because they say it takes time for the stomach to signal to the brain that I'm full. So if you keep stuffing
That is
yourself,
exactly 20 minutes it takes for the body, for the stomach to tell you,
even tell you.
brain that stop. So yeah, so if you follow these basic, very simple takeaways, it can really enhance your health.
All right. So
eat less. It's a blessing that I say.
Yes.
Eat better quality, eat less, eat early, and eat slow.
Eat right.
And eat smart.
True. So one last question, Ishi, you spoke briefly about intermittent fasting enabling a better brain health, but can it also improve, now there's so many people suffering from ADHD, attention deficit, and various other issues. So do you think it really impacts or enhances clarity of thought or mental health?
Certainly does, and this has been proved in several scientific researches that it improves brain clarity, brain fog, and people who come to me also say that they are far better when they do intermittent fasting. And one of the reasons is they have something called brain neurotropic factors which get secreted during fasting states.
Okay.
So it is part of regeneration, neuroplasticity, etc. So the science is emerging, but the fact is that certainly it is one of the tools even to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia.
All right.
So it has a positive impact on brain health for sure.
Wow.
And anything which has a positive impact on your gut, remember, will have a positive impact on your brain.
Okay, so you mentioned Alzheimer's. So one more addition to my question is, what are the right, way to adopt when it comes to intermittent fasting to avoid diseases like Alzheimer's? Is there any takeaway you'd like to share?
Less sugar, less carbohydrates.
All right.
Good fats, fermented foods, gut-friendly
Probiotics.
diet, fermented foods, of course, and probiotics, and that's prebiotics, and plenty of fiber, phytonutrients, good quality protein, not having processed foods, and fasting from time to time is certainly a good way, like I said, and also address nutritional deficiencies. So please do your blood work. If you're doing everything and not addressing your very critically low level of B12 or vitamin D or any
Which is
other
again very common.
it will become only partially true.
All right.
So,
great. Thank you. So any mantra you'd like to leave our audience with? A quick mantra?
So I just say, since we're talking about intermittent fasting, there are many other forms of fasting. So it could be a fruit and vegetable fast, it could be just a one meal fast, it could just be alternate day fasting.
Yes.
So whatever
Whichever
works for you, but
works for
fasting
you.
has been part and woven into our
Indian culture,
traditional
yes.
culture, and not only Indian, across the world. And there are good reasons for it. So do adopt your body to fasting for your body to allow it to reset. So it's just say allow your car to get serviced.
Yes.
Allow your body to get serviced.
In fact, I like your car analogy. The car needs a breather, so
Yes.
our body needs a break.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Ishi. Thanks for your time.
Ruchiraa.
That's it on this episode of Ishi Speaks, your gateway to good health. Stay tuned and we'll be back with more on health, nutrition and wellness. Keep watching.